Thank you, Mark. Okay, well, let's go back now to our correspondent on the scene, Anissa Nawi. Anissa, just bring us up to date. If our viewers have just joined us, they're just tuning in tonight, bring us up to date on what you know about what happened with this plane crash earlier on today that's wiped out the majority, if not all, of this hockey team tonight, and again, a lot of the crew on that plane as well.
Yeah, a horrible tragedy here in Yaroslavl. Just want to add parallel to, of course, this global policy forum, which is being held. It's pure accident that we're so close, so many officials in town. We're now hearing that President Dmitry Medvedev, not only is he going to cut short much of his meetings that were planned for tomorrow, but he himself is going to come to this crash site to pay his respects. People flooding in to this area to lay flowers, to pay their respects to the Yaroslavl Lokomotiv team. Just a horrible tragedy. What's happening now is it's getting dark and cold, and so that what investigators and emergency workers are hoping is that won't hamper them finding many more bodies. They found 31 bodies so far. Of course, we know 43 are dead, so they still have several more to find, and with no light it's going to be difficult for them to do. I heard you mention that our thoughts are with those emergency workers, and that certainly is the case. It's cold out here. Most of that plane wreckage is in the water, and it's dark, so it's going to be hard for them. They're going to continue working throughout the night to try to recover as many bodies as possible. And I also want to mention that the transport minister and other officials are also making their way to this site. A lot of matches have been cancelled. The KHL season is just opening up, so it really is just a horrible moment for sports fans, Russians, and everyone that is watching this unfold as the information comes in as to how many people died and the gravity of this tragedy. Anissa,
we just heard, I'm sure you overheard it, from Mark Weiss, a very seasoned ex-pilot himself with American Airlines, now works as a security homeland advisor, who's very cagey because it's such early days to say what may have caused this crash, you know, as the bodies are still being picked out of the water. But nonetheless, when you hear sometimes that it's a Russian plane, an aging model, like the Yak, like a Tupolev, thoughts immediately go to the plane. Could it have been something wrong with that plane, or was it pilot error? Has any more news come through in the last hour or two about what may have gone so terribly wrong here?
It has indeed. There are a couple of ways that it could have gone. Human factor, as I'm sure we've been hearing for hours now, is always taken into great consideration in plane crashes like this. But we were hearing early into the developing story was that during takeoff perhaps there was some kind of technical failure and the plane could not gain altitude, and it perhaps one of the verses that we're hearing is that it hit some kind of antenna and then fell into the Volga River. So that's probably the most likely. Investigators, of course, are going to be looking at all kinds of factors. We can confirm that the Prosecutor General has ordered a full check of the airline that was in charge of this flight, carrying, of course, the entire team, and also are going to be checking all Yak-42 planes in their entirety and in their use in Russia. So no Yak-42s flying until investigators can confirm that this plane should be able to fly and continue carrying people when tragedies like this are happening. I have to say that people we have been speaking to do say that it is a fairly reliable plane, but there have been several incidences in the last 10 years with Yak-42, so of course investigators taking that into consideration as well.
All right, Anissa Nawi, thanks very much. Just incidentally, while you're talking there, I'm not quite sure I can hear, is that a bell tolling behind you there?
It is. I'm not sure if it's connected. I think we're going to have to presume that it is. Obviously, people in mourning here, it sounds like there's some kind of church nearby, and already the process of mourning and people kind of paying their respects and taking in everything that's happened in this relatively small town. Obviously something that is going to go way beyond Yaroslavl here and touch the whole country, if not the world.
Yeah, okay. And listen, Nawi, thanks for bringing us what you know. We'll be catching up with you later.